Ross, when you decided you wanted to become a television writer before you got into teaching, how important was it to you that you achieved that goal? I mean, was that your mindset from the beginning once you left Berkeley, that you were going to?
Well, it's funny. When I was at Berkeley, I did some comedy writing in school. I actually had a sketch radio comedy program along with a childhood friend, Joel Cerna, who turned out to be one of the creators of 24 eventually. And we did sketch comedy on the radio, which is about as difficult as you can imagine, because in comedy you need to hear if the audience is laughing or not, and you don't on the radio. So it would be you'd do something you thought was funny, and maybe the engineer would laugh, but you would just hope somebody was listening out there. And I also wrote for the humor magazine at Berkeley, which is where I went to college. But simultaneous to all this, I got a summer job through my father working for a company that made television commercials. My father was an advertising executive, and so I got a job as a gopher, a PA for a company that made McDonald's and United Airlines and Kentucky Fried Chicken commercials, and I loved it. It was hugely fun. It didn't matter how demeaning the work was. One of my first jobs, this is a true story, I stood in for a dog in a dog food commercial on my hands and knees, face near the bowl and so on, because I was cheaper to hire me than to hire a second dog. Because if they don't want to tire out the star dog, and if you hire a second dog, you have to have a second union animal handler. And so I was cheaper than that. I think there was some good-natured hazing going on as well, because my father was an advertising executive and I was probably the 9,000th son of an advertising executive who got a summer job. But I had a great time. So by the time I graduated from college, I was torn about whether to go pursue writing or pursue production. And frankly, I wasn't good enough to be a professional writer at that time. So it was the better path for me to pursue production and practice writing, write spec scripts and get better at them. And it hadn't even quite gotten on my radar to be a sitcom writer yet. That happened when I moved back to Los Angeles, and just in socializing found out that the older brothers and sisters of my friends some of them were getting jobs as sitcom writers. And I thought, hey, I'd like to do that. So my school for that was they showed reruns of the Mary Tyler Moore Show and the Bob Newhart Show, where he was the psychologist, in the afternoon. So when I was unemployed, I had freelance employment as a commercial production assistant at that time. When I was unemployed, I'd watch the shows in the afternoon and I'd try to scrape up scripts from somewhere to read them. It's much easier now to to at least get the resources to learn your craft. They didn't even have VHS tape machines at that time when I was starting out, so all you could do was watch TV to study something. Now, go watch 50 episodes of something on DVD or stream it or whatever, and the scripts are available on the internet.